as it is. And when you become, it's like you become friends with the person who says what they think all the time, and you're like, why did you say that? And they go, that's not what I meant. Let me explain what I
Mm.
meant. Like you say, giving people a second chance to say, I know how it sounds, but let me explain. And it invites so many more conversations.
Yeah. And, I'd say it's one of those things, especially in interpersonal relationships or even close friendships. Let's say that you either are a person that is super comfortable just speaking freely off the cuff with certain friends, or vice versa. There is a potential that, let's say someone says, "Ooh, that was, what did you mean by that?" Or that was a little, blah, 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 or this made me feel this way. Sometimes people don't say anything. And, this was actually, I'll give a personal example of a friendship that unfortunately, didn't really make it because there was this instance of over multiple times, I guess, of me just being my unfiltered self and not realizing that this person wasn't agreeing because there was an element of silence.
Mm,
And and I think sometimes when we are, in our confidence, feeling really comfortable, um it's not like you're going to be like asking people, "Oh, why didn't you respond to that?" Or, we're not gonna like be looking at things under a microscope because you're relaxed, you're with the
yeah.
friend. But, especially on the personal growth journey, there are people who maybe, your relationship mutually served each other at one point in time. And then sometimes maybe there's, a gradual sort of growing apart,
Yeah.
So I think that's something that, as we don't always talk a lot about, when it comes to friendships, and there aren't always friendship breakups. But yeah, I think it's really important. I'm just going to emphasize if, let's say, you are engaging with a friend and there's something that they say that, triggers you, to take responsibility for the trigger, but to maybe bring it up if that happens enough where you feel like the friendship is in jeopardy. Because if there isn't that communication when it's relatively minor, then what happens
Mm.
is there can be a big blow up where, let's say, there's a party who just like didn't see the end of that friendship coming because the communication wasn't reciprocal.
Yeah. No, understood. And also, I love that. That's a great, like, kind of pivot into, like you said, grieving platonic relationships, because we don't like, I think in our culture, we're just taught to like get over it. I don't know how many times in my life I've heard, just get over it. You're going to be fine. You're going to wake up tomorrow. It's going to be fine. Maybe you guys will come back together. But really, going through the grieving process of losing someone gives you a chance to have just to have retrospect on what happened. And I know sometimes it feels like it's closed off and you may be the only person who's grieving, but I feel like together, like the friendship together, if you really look back at it, you'll figure out where was the yin and yang in that. And if there was ever yin and yang in that, sometimes we hold on to people who probably weren't as interested in us as we thought they were. Or we have this, for me, I try to speak in I statements. I make friendships with very strong personalities because I am a strong personality. So somebody with a more agreeable, whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go, however you want to dress, whatever. I'm like, I need you to make a decision. And I can come off brash because I'm like, what would you like to do? Where do you want to eat? Where would you want to wear? Well, I thought we were all wearing brown. Do you want to wear brown? If you don't wear it. And then people get silent, especially if they're in that, if they're more of a passive type communicator, they're quiet, but you're like the aggressive, I'm going to say what I have to say. It kind of, I know that it throws the conversation, I mean, the relationship off, but really grieving the breakdown of a relationship so that you can understand what you did a little bit wrong or what wasn't good about that relationship and the things that were really good, so you can take it to the next relationship and build on that with someone new.